everyone, I'm Alicia Malone. Welcome to Fandango Indie Movie Guide and welcome to my home. You can tell I've been away a lot because my plant is almost dying, but anyway, getting into it with my favorite of the week, Miss Stevens. Now this film came out in cinemas last week, but it's just now going to video on demand. You can watch it on Fandango now. This is the directorial debut of writer Julia Hart, and I want to see more from her because this is one of those little indie gems that sneak up on you emotionally.
Do you mind if I ask how old you are? Sam thinks you're 26, but I think you're older. Not because you look older, you just seem older.
It's about an English teacher called Miss Stevens, played by Lily Rabe, who some of you might recognize from American Horror Story, and she takes 3 students for an excursion to a drama competition.
What do you teach?
I'm an English teacher. I teach English.
Do you have a boyfriend?
Seriously?
Leave Rachel alone.
Rachel?
Wow.
But of course, this film is not really about the drama competition. This is a great look at what it means to be an adult. I think a lot of people could relate to this. You know, Miss Stevens is 29, she's about to turn 30, so she's still quite young, but she's old enough to be this authority figure for the kids. She can't really be friends with them or get involved emotionally with them because she has to keep herself separate. At the same time, she's not really ready to grow up. As I said, the direction is really cool, but the writing is so solid as well because it takes this twist and you think you know where it's gonna go and it doesn't, and I love that. Plus the performances are wonderful, the kids are great, and it's nice to see Lily Rabe out of that nun's outfit. The next film I want to tell you about is called Goat. It's directed by Andrew Neil. I saw this one at Sundance earlier this year, and a lot of the press was about Nick Jonas because he stars as one of the characters in this film.
This is Phi Sigma Mu. We're gentlemen.
It's a frat boy drama, and Nick plays the older brother to the main character Brad, played by Ben Schnetzer. And Brad is this very sensitive guy. He literally gets taken for a ride, gets abused, feels ridiculous about it, feels like he wasn't man enough to stop it, so he decides to join his older brother's frat. Now, fraternities have always fascinated me. Obviously, growing up in Australia, we don't have fraternities and sororities, and I've always wondered about this initiation process.
Welcome to Hell Week, goats! Sir, yes, sir!
You know, my friends here in America who were in fraternities always talk about the great brotherhood and relationships that they formed, but that seems at odds with this kind of humiliating initiation process that sometimes they have to go through.
There we go.
Look, I went through this myself, all right? They just do this to weed out the weak ones.
This movie obviously shows the more extreme initiations. I know not all fraternities are like this, but it's an interesting window into a world that I don't know much about. If you're looking for a documentary this weekend, I want to recommend The Lovers and the Despot. This is playing only in theaters at this stage and probably in limited theaters, but it's well worth seeking out.
김정일 kidnapped CNN to improve North Korean film business.
This tells the unbelievably true story of a really famous South Korean actress who was kidnapped while in Hong Kong by Kim Jong-il of North Korea. You might remember how Kim Jong-il was a huge fan of movies. He had screening rooms in many rooms of the house, and he really wanted North Korea to be as good at creating movies as the rest of the world. So he kidnapped this South Korean actress, and then her husband, who was a really famous South Korean director, went to Hong Kong to try to find her, and he got kidnapped as well by North Korea.
우리가 그리운 사후세계로
Tapes of Shin talking with Kim Jong-il? Now, at that time, no one had ever heard Kim Jong-il say anything.
This movie plays like a thriller, like a mystery. You are piecing things together slowly. It's chilling, and it's so hard to fathom. 2 other suggestions to watch at home this weekend. Swiss Army Man is one of my favorite films of the year. It's really divisive. It's been called the farting corpse movie, but I loved it. It stars Paul Dano as a castaway, and he befriends a corpse he finds washed up on the beach, who's played by Daniel Radcliffe, and this corpse ends up being quite useful. Now, this movie actually has a lot more heart than you may expect. It's about love, it's about friendship, it's about this guy finding himself and loneliness, and the Daniels are interesting directors. It's not very often these days that you find movies that feel wholly original, that feel like they have a unique voice and something to say. The production design is gorgeous, the music is really inventive, the performances are great. Give Swiss Army Man a go. It might not be your cup of tea, but you will definitely be in for an interesting experience. The other film I want to mention to you that you can watch at home from this weekend is called My Blind Brother.
You've been such an inspiration. How are you feeling right now?
I have just got to thank one individual who was next to me the whole time I'm running down that road. There's this voice telling you that you can do it. I, of course, am talking about God.
So this is a nice and quite funny movie about a brother who is trying to deal with the fact that his blind brother, played by Adam Scott, is dating the girl that he loves. I liked seeing Nick Kroll as this romantic lead. He does a great job. Jenny Slate is fantastic. And Adam Scott is good at playing both the nicest guy you'll ever meet and also the worst guy you'll ever meet, and then somewhere in the middle with this character.
Excuse me, do you mind? Trying to eat dinner over here.
Rob, he's disabled.
I'm disabled. Oh my God.
The final film I want to mention to you that's also out in theaters this weekend is called The Dressmaker. Now this is getting mixed reviews, but it might be just weird enough for some of you to enjoy it. It's directed by Australian filmmaker Jocelyn Moorhouse. It's based on a book, and it stars Kate Winslet as this Parisian dressmaker who returns home to the Australian outback, and it's an interesting juxtaposition of her wearing these very fancy, glamorous outfits in the tough, rough outback.
I can make you the most striking girl in the room. Take your clothes off. A murderer and a lesbian.
It's all set in the 50s, it looks very beautiful, but it's all very strange. There's a lot of moments that you're thinking, I'm not so sure where this movie is going. And it also stars Hugo Weaving and Liam Hemsworth, so it might be worth checking out.
You could be married in this suit, snapped up by some eligible spinster or hag.
Trousers off too?
Yes.
No.
So there you have it, that's the end of Fandango Indie Movie Guide. I know I just threw a whole bunch of movies at you, but plenty of options for you to watch this weekend. Let me know in the comments below, are there any films you are looking forward to? Have you seen any of them? What do you think of the show? I want to hear from you. And also, if you have any questions about indies, about how they're released, about video on demand, about award season, anything you can think of, drop me a line on Twitter at Alicia Malone. And if I get a good question, I will answer it in next week's episode. Until next time,